Okay, so within the last video, we were able to view the task. Yes, but I want to add, and I read this in my notes to say, I want to put some pizzazz. I want to put this some coolness in terms of this. So what we're gonna do is remove this for one moment, and what I'm gonna do is talk to you about for loops. Okay, so for loops has the ability, or is very similar to the while loop. Okay, for is very similar to the while. The only difference is that the while loop, you don't know when it's going to stop. Okay, you don't necessarily, as the user, you don't know when it's going to stop. Okay, or the program, sorry, the program in and of itself doesn't know when it's going to stop. However, for a for loop, it does. Okay, for a for loop, it knows when it's going to stop. Okay, so it looks kind of weird, but I mean, it works. Okay, so it's going to be for. Okay, and I'm gonna use this arbitrary symbol I. It doesn't matter. So I'm saying for I, in range. Okay, range from 1 to 4. Okay, what I wanted to do is to print I. So there's a lot of things to talk about here, which is different than what we discussed in previous videos. So this is index, and that's just what that really just means is going to go through this list, which is now me telling you this is the list that has numbers ranging from 1 to 3. Okay, from 1 to 3. And so with this being the case, another thing for me to emphasize is that this doesn't include 4, so it's going to go from 1, 2 to 3. So let's go ahead and run it so I can make a point. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Great. The next thing to note is that Python does not start at traditional 1. If I were to erase this, this is going to give me 0, 1, 2. Okay, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so we do this. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's my mistake. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3 because it does not include that last number. So it always starts at 0, just so you know. So if you ever want to start at 1, you have to actually specify that. So 1, comma, and it's going to give you 1, 2, 3 like we did before. Okay, so you can get the general gist of what a for loop is. It's going from the beginning value which you provided, and then it ends the number before. So it's a 3. All right. So with that being said, when it comes to Python, you actually have the ability to really do something nifty in that I can create another for loop. But before I create a for loop, let me create the actual list that I'm interested in. Okay, so let's say Disney trips. I know everyone loves Disney. Okay, Disney trips, whether it's the world or it's the land. Okay, and so let's say it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and what I can do is actually run my for loop through this list. And the syntax for that, or at least the way it would work, is say print trips. Okay, I could have said print I, but again, it's arbitrary. It doesn't matter what it actually is that in terms of running through the loop. So I can say print trip in Disney trip. Let me say trips because it is plural. Disney trips. And then what I'll do is print each trip. Print the actual trip. Okay? So that's the for loop. Okay? And so when I do this, it's going to print out 1, 2. Let me make this different. So it's just some pizzazz. 1, 2, 5. All right. So you can imagine I didn't erase my previous code, or at least comment it out. Let's do that so you can actually make sense of what I'm running. So here we go. So 1, 2, 5. Okay. So it's printing the elements within the actual list. Okay. And that's what we want to do with our to-do list. We want to be able to print each item, but when we're printing it, we want it to look cool. Okay. We want it to look cool. And so what I mean by that is I can actually talk about one of the concepts. We can turn this into a literal. A string literal like we did in the add function, and make this look a little bit cooler. So what I'll do is I'll use F, okay, parentheses. Okay, I'm gonna need to close parentheses, and then I need to put this around. I need to put curly braces around there so it knows to look for that. what I can do now is say, okay, the number of Disney trips is that. And so what this now says is that for each one of these lines, I can now specify the number of trips. So I can say, when I run this, we now have the number of trips is 1, the number of trips is 2, the number of trips is 5. Okay, so now you can kind of see where I'm getting at. Instead of having, in the previous video, this list like this, in this, not so nice looking format, I can say task 1, do homework, task 1, mow lawn, task 2, mow lawn, task 3, take out trash, okay? All these tasks, not necessarily enumerating it, but just the actual task in and of itself. So let's do that. So when it comes to creating that functionality, all we have to do is, and since I never erased the code from the previous video, we're just going to utilize that same list and say for task in to-do list colon print f literal again task yeah, and that should do it, I believe. Okay, let's run the code. And let me comment this out as well so that we don't see this. All right, so run. So you see task, do homework, task, mow lawn, task, take out trash. Great, so it worked. So all we have to do is take this for loop and then just replace it here. Okay, and so here, let me go ahead and copy and paste this view task. I'm going to erase it, plug it here, put it here on line 21. Okay, and I'm gonna make this look a little bit better. Okay, take copy and erase this for loop, print this here. Okay, all right, make sure you do the tabs like I mentioned before, and then I'm gonna say this is the to-do list, this is the to-do list. Okay, so now if I run this, nothing should happen. Make sure nothing should happen. Boop, run, nothing happens. Now I need to go ahead, like I did in the previous video, do view task. Now it should run. Boop. This is my to-do list. Okay, great. Just so you all see, if I just comment this out and make it to-do list and make it empty, like I did in the previous video, it should say it's empty. Yes, success. Thanks for watching. We have the next video on deleting task. Okay, thank you.